Section 3, the AI marketing machine. Now that the event concept is clear, the next challenge appears. People have to hear about it. A great event idea works if people know it exists. And this is where many event builders start to feel overwhelmed because marketing an event can feel like a full-time job. You start thinking about social media posts, emails, videos, graphics, updates, announcements, and suddenly it feels like an endless amount of content to create. For years, this was one of the hardest parts of producing events. You had to constantly remind people the event existed. But AI changes something important. It allows builders to create momentum much faster. The key mindset shift is this. Instead of thinking about marketing as hundreds of separate pieces of content, start thinking about it as one idea expanding outward. One event idea can generate weeks, sometimes months of marketing. And think of it like a tree. The event is the trunk. Everything else grows from it. Let's imagine the event idea we talked about earlier, an event focused on independent horror filmmakers. That single idea can create many different pieces of content. The first piece of content is usually the announcement. Something simple that tells people the event exists. But that's only the beginning. The next layer of content might explain the story behind the event. Why does this event exist? What problem does it solve for the audience? Why should people care about it? Then the next layer of content explores the experience. What will it feel like to attend? Panels, workshops, networking, live demos. Each of those become another piece of content. And suddenly the event isn't just one announcement, it becomes a series of small stories unfolding over time. This is where AI becomes extremely helpful. Instead of trying to invent every post, AI can expand the idea quickly for you. For example, you might ask, give me 10 social media content ideas promoting an event for indie horror filmmakers. Within seconds, you have ideas to work with. Some might be behind the scenes looks at filmmaking. Some might be quick tips about shooting horror on a budget. Some might be highlighting speakers or guests, or simply just build curiosity about the event. Each idea becomes a starting point, and that is where the real power comes from. Because marketing for events works through repetition and curiosity. Most people don't attend an event because of one post. They attend an event because they see an idea several times. Each time they see it, the idea becomes more familiar, more interesting, more real. AI helps you create that repetition much faster. Instead of struggling to come up with a new post every day, you generate a batch of ideas all at once and then refine them. Another useful concept here is what I call content multiplication. One message can appear in several formats: a short video, a social media caption, an email, a blog post, a graphic. The idea stays the same, only the format changes. AI can help rewrite the same message for different platforms in seconds. That means one idea can travel across many channels, and that visibility is what leads people toward the event. There's another concept that helps explain why this works. It's called marketing snowball. When an event is first announced, only a few people notice. A couple of followers see the post. Maybe a friend shares it. Maybe someone mentions it in conversation. At that stage, the event still feels small. But every piece of content adds a little more snow to the snowball. Another post, another mention, another conversation, another person sharing with a friend. Slowly, the snowball starts rolling and momentum builds. People hear about the event. More people begin talking about it. Eventually, the event stops feeling new and uncertain, and it begins to feel like something that is already happening. And that shift is incredibly powerful because people feel more comfortable attending events that seem active and alive. AI helps accelerate the early stage of that snowball. Instead of waiting weeks between pieces of content, you can generate many ideas and plan them in advance. That means momentum begins early. There's one more helpful framework when thinking about event marketing. I know I keep saying one more, but I keep having them. This is the 3-type event content. First type is awareness content. Simply tells people the event exists, announcements, dates, location, basic information. The second type is curiosity content. This gives people glimpses of experience behind the scenes, post speaker highlights, short tips, stories about the community and about the event. The third type is commitment content. This encourages people to actually attend. Ticket reminders, limited seating, special announcements, reasons to register now. A healthy marketing campaign usually includes all three. Awareness brings attention, curiosity builds interest, commitment leads to action. AI makes it much easier to generate all three types quickly. Instead of feeling stuck, wondering what to post next, you already have a system. And once that system starts running, something important happens. Momentum builds, and the event stops feeling like something you're trying to convince people to attend. Instead, it begins to feel like something people are naturally curious about. And curiosity killed the cat. And curiosity is the beginning of attendance. There's another lesson about marketing that I learned while producing events. So I think it's worth sharing here. Sometimes the most powerful marketing for an event isn't a post or an ad. Sometimes the most powerful marketing is an unforgettable moment. I remember one example very clearly from V. Neil's Vampire Weekend. On the Saturday of the event, we created characters from the Lost Boys. We recreated them. V. Neil and several other incredible effects artists spent the entire day transforming a group of young actors into vampires from the film. The makeup process itself became part of the show. Booths were set up almost like small stages. People could walk by and watch the transformation happening in real time. Hours of artistry happening right in front of them. The costume designer even brought original on-screen used costumes from the movie. So by the time the makeup was finished, these actors didn't look just like the characters. They felt like they had stepped out of the film. Then something wonderful happened. Instead of sending them backstage, they walked around the convention floor. Fans were taking photos with them. People were talking about it. Phones were out, capturing the moment everywhere. And the best part was that it led directly into the Lost Boys panel later that day. By the time the actors in V. Neil walked onto that stage to talk about creating the film, the entire room was buzzing. People had just experienced something special together. That moment became one of the most talked about parts of the entire weekend. And here's why I'm telling you this story. Great marketing isn't always about pushing information out. Sometimes it's about creating moments that people naturally want to share. When something exciting happens at an event, people take photos, they post videos, they tell their friends, and suddenly the audience becomes part of the marketing. That's the kind of momentum event builders are always trying to create. AI can help generate ideas and content, but the heart of marketing is still the experience itself. When the experience is exciting, the audience helps carry the story forward. That is when the marketing snowball really starts rolling. Before we move on, I want to give you 2 more practical frameworks that can help when planning your event. The first is something that it's called the 5 content pillars of event. When builders sit down and promote an event, the biggest question they'll ask usually is, what do I post about? Instead of inventing something new every day, it helps to work from a few reliable categories of content. The first pillar is the story of the event. Why does this event exist? What inspired it? What community is it meant to serve? People connect strongly with origin stories because they understand the purpose behind the event. The second pillar is experience. Show people what it will feel like to attend, photos of past moments, clips of performances or panels, descriptions of what the day will look like. When people can imagine themselves there, curiosity grows. Third pillar is the people. Events are really about the people involved, guests, speakers, artists, vendors, even the fans. Introducing the people who will be part of the event makes the experience feel personal. The fourth pillar is education and value. Share something interesting related to the event's theme, a quick filmmaking tip, a piece of horror history, behind the scenes fact. Content that teaches something makes the audience feel like they are already gaining value from the event. And the fifth pillar is the invitation. Simply remind that the event is happening, the dates, location, registration links, reasons to attend. When you rotate between these 5 pillars, marketing becomes much easier because you always know what type of content to create next. The second framework is about timing. I call 90-day promotion timeline. Most events begin marketing far too late. A simple way to think of it about promotion is to imagine 90-day runway before the event. During the first 30 days, the goal is awareness. Announce the event, explain the concept, begin sharing the story behind it. During the next 30 days, the focus shifts to curiosity. Introduce guests, show pieces of the experience, share behind the scenes moments as the event comes together. During the final 30 days, the focus becomes commitment. Remind people about the tickets, highlight the reasons to attend, build excitement as the event approaches. This gradual build gives the marketing snowball time to grow. People see the idea multiple times, curiosity builds, and by the time the event arrives, it already feels familiar. These 2 frameworks, the content pillars and the 90-day timeline, help prevent builders turn scattered posts into clear promotional strategy. There's another example of how experience naturally creates marketing that comes from building. Crystal Lake Nightmares was a convention that's celebrating 45 years of Friday the 13th. Yeah. When we were planning that event, the goal wasn't to just run a convention. We wanted people to feel like they had stepped into Camp Crystal Lake. So instead of treating the venue like a normal hotel convention, we treated it like a set. A production designer friend of mine helped transform the entire environment we filled the spaces with. Camping elements, canoes, gear, handmade wooden signs pointing people toward different rooms, and little scenic setups throughout the venue. A few actors dressed as Jason would appear in different areas as well, adding to the atmosphere. Originally, we were just trying to create an immersive environment. But something interesting happened. Every one of those little set pieces became a photo opportunity. Fans started taking pictures everywhere. They shared them online. Suddenly, the environment itself was creating content for the event. We also tried something new that year. We built a safe indoor campfire. We set it up in one of the rooms and announced months in advance that we would be hosting campfire storytelling sessions. We invited fans to send in their scary stories, and some of those stories were performed live during the event. That simple idea did something powerful. It invited the audience to participate in the experience. And during the show, Sean Cunningham, the creator of Friday the 13th, joined us. And he spoke about storytelling and what makes a great story work. We recorded that conversation. Now that moment has become content we can share long after the event has ended. This is another powerful lesson in event marketing. Experiences create content. When an event environment is interesting and interactive, the audience naturally documents it. Photos appear online, videos appear online, stories spread. Good stories, we hope. And suddenly the marketing is happening not just from the organizers, but from the community itself. And there's one more simple concept that helps builders design moments like that intentionally. I call it's the photo test. When planning an event, it helps to ask a very simple question. Where will people take pictures? Photos are one of the most powerful forms of marketing for events because people naturally share them. If someone takes a great photo at your event, that photo often ends up on social media. Friends see it, people ask where it was taken, and suddenly the event begins spreading beyond the people who were physically there. Great events usually pass the photo test. They include a few designed moments where people naturally want to take pictures. Maybe it's an immersive set piece. Maybe it's a themed environment. Maybe it's a character walking through the space. You know, the cosplayers love pictures. Maybe it's a stage moment that feels cinematic. At Crystal Lake Nightmares, those camp setups ended up becoming exactly that. Fans were constantly stopping to take photos with the canoes, the camp signs, and the Jasons appearing around the event. What started as an atmosphere became one of the most shared parts of the show. So, when thinking about an event experience, it can be helpful to imagine 3 to 5 moments where people will naturally pull out their phones and capture something memorable. Those moments don't just create memories for attendees, they create marketing that spreads outward through the audience itself. And it crosses things off of people's bucket lists. They've told me that too. And that's when the marketing snowball really begins to roll. Once that marketing engine is running, we move into the next challenge of the event building, the practical side. Ugh, pricing, vendors, venues, budgets. These are decisions that determine whether an event becomes sustainable. So let's move on to that next. If you've been thinking about building your own event and want help actually mapping it out, go to the link and request a session. Tell me what you're working on.